Hi, I'm Tom Lu from Texas. In today's video, I'm going to take you to Big Bend National Park. Big Bend National Park is located in the remote and mountainous American Southwest. It straddles the border between the state of Texas and Mexico with the Rio Grande River running through it. It covers 800,000 acres of mountains, desert, and forest. Among all the national parks in the United States, Big Bend stands out for its vast wilderness and rugged terrain featuring Chihuahua desert landscapes. Its magnificent beauty draws tourists and inspires artists. It offers exploratory opportunities and adventurous experiences with romantic imaginations that we've seen in movies and literature. I visited Big Bend for the first time in November 2017, and I was fascinated. Now I'm returning and decide to explore further. For me, Big Bend is a classic American Wild West. It's a beautiful display of the frontier that American forefathers have come to explore and conquered about 200 years ago. As the Rio Grande flows south along the border of Texas and Mexico, the river swings abruptly north before turning back again to continue its journey into the Gulf of Mexico. This horseshoe-shaped piece of the Chihuahuan Desert, outlined by the Rio Grande, gave the region its name, Big Bend. Nestled into the southwest curve of Texas, over 1,200 square miles of open land, one of the last remaining wild corners of the United States, with unmatched sights, sounds, and solitude, is Big Bend National Park. With 100 miles of paved roads, 150 miles of dirt roads winding through the park, 200 miles of hiking trails, Big Bend contains mountain, desert, and river environments. A geological marvel evidenced in sea fossils, dinosaur bones, and volcanic activities that mark the desert landscape. Big Bend is a product of an extremely complex geologic history and formations over 500 million years, involving early mountain building, invasion of a shallow sea, volcanism, vertical faulting, and erosion. In this episode, we will delve into a few specific geologic sites and the beautiful tourist attractions in Big Bend. Maxwell Scenic Drive is a 30-mile paved road that offers numerous scenic overlooks and exhibits along the way, and leads to Santa Elena Canyon. It's named after Ross Maxwell, an Oklahoma geologist who served as Big Bend's first superintendent from 1945 to 1952. Soda Vista, Mule Ears Overlook, and Turf Canyon are the worthwhile stops along the drive. One of the most magnificent canyons and breathtaking sights in the park, Santa Elena Canyon sits at the end of the drive. The impressive canyon is visible for miles across the desert while driving to the entrance. The canyon walls rise 1,500 feet straight up from the river below. The canyon carved by the Rio Grande River cutting through the limestone bedrock over millions of years. The Rio Grande River carries a significant amount of sediment, which acts as an abrasive and cuts through the rock walls of the canyon. The Rio Grande River here also forms a section of the border between the United States and Mexico. The left wall of the canyon belongs to Mexico, while the right wall belongs to Texas, the United States. The narrowest part of the channel is a 25-foot waterway. Crossing the deepest channel of the river here will put you in Mexico. However, other than the sign in the parking lot, you will never know you are entering another country by crossing the river. The Rio Grande River defines the border between the United States and Mexico for over 1,000 miles. This is Rio Grande River, the natural boundary between the United States and Mexico. Mexico is on the other side of the river. The fabulous Santa Elena Canyon Trail runs 1.6 miles with 80-foot elevation gain. This trail enters between the walls of the spectacular Santa Elena Canyon and ends where the cliffs meet the Rio Grande River. Santa Elena Canyon is not only magnificently beautiful, but also dramatically spectacular. Calcite crystals filled in the cracks formed by this fault can be seen along the trail. The trail takes visitors further into the canyon. This is when you really start to appreciate just how high the canyon walls are. The sheer face of this canyon was formed by the Terlingua Fault, which is most covered in gravel. The trail weaves through some large boulders inside the canyon. After you finish the climb, you will be rewarded with the sweeping views of the Rio Grande River floodplain and the Chisos Mountains in the distance. The Window Trail is the most popular hiking route in the Chisos Mountains and the Big Bend National Park. It offers amazing views around the basin and the terrain changes throughout the hike. The route is a round trip with a distance of 5.6 miles and 780-foot elevation gain. The trail starts on the floor of the Chiso Basin and descends through Oak Creek Canyon downstream for 2 miles to the Window Pour-Off, which frames panoramic desert vistas where Seasonal Creek falls vertically by 220 feet. The canyon becomes increasingly overgrown downstream, and the trail passes a good variety of vegetation and the jagged rock formations. The best part is the 700-foot section just before the pour-off. As here, the ravine is narrow and the creek flows over smooth, light gray rocks, forming pools and little cascades. Big Bend has always been a place of change. Rocks and fossils tell the story of changing landscapes and ecosystems, while artifacts, ruins, and written history tell of the different people who occupy the land and the various purposes they found for it. For better or worse, plant and animal life have taken hold, disappeared, and sometimes returned to Big Bend. The sum total of such change is a region that is full of surprises and oddities, begging to be explored in detail. The preservation of Big Bend as a national park has ensured that such exploration will be able to continue for many years to come.